So we're going to start standing in Tadasana, mountain pose. Bringing your awareness into the soles of your feet. I want you to root down into the balls of your big toe, little toe and heel. So lifting up the Mula Bandha, that's your pelvic floor, zipping up from the back of the bottom to the front, drawing your navel to spine and feeling this energy rising up out the crown of the head. And we're going to inhale the arms up, bringing the palms to touch, and exhale, swan diving into our Uttanasana. Inhaling into Ardha Uttanasana, lengthening through the back, and then stepping back into a plank pose. We're going to exhale into our Chaturanga, or knees, chest, chin, and inhale into an upward facing dog or cobra pose, opening across the heart center and activating into the glutes. Exhaling into downward dog. Inhaling, the right leg lifts up, and we're going to plant it in between the hands, coming up into our warrior one. Feeling weight in that front foot and rooting into the outer edge of the back foot. We're going to try and draw the left hip forward, so we're closing the hips and drawing the navel towards the spine. I want you to imagine you're tucking the back of the tailbone under so that you've got length through the lower back. If this is too tight in the shoulders, just opening your hands. On an exhalation, we're going to open out into our warrior two, or Virabhadrasana 2. We've got energy reaching out through the fingertips, equally through the back arm as the front arm, so the spine is completely vertical. The right knee is pressing out to the right to open into the hip. There's strength in the lower body and an expansiveness in the upper body. The gaze is resting on that right middle finger. Keeping the lower body exactly as it is, we're going to turn the right hand to face the ceiling, reach it forward, extending through the right hand side of the body, and inhale the arm up and back, whilst letting the left arm lower down the leg or wrap itself around the right leg. Take 2 to 3 breaths here, feeling the breath expanding through that right side body. Next, we're going to transition into our Trikonasana. So lengthening through that right leg, paying close attention to what happens in the right knee. We want to make sure that that right knee is pointing forward and not knocking inwards. Our left hand is reaching up and our right hand is reaching down. We want to feel a spaciousness through that right side body. So try to avoid collapsing into that right waist. If you're struggling with balance, perhaps try bringing your right hand onto a block. Taking 3 to 5 deep Ujjayi breaths here. Next up, we're going to transition into our revolved triangle, our Paravita Trikonasana. We're going to bring the left foot in a little bit at a slight angle so that we can square off the hips. That means bringing the left hip forward and the right hip back as we lengthen through the lower back. We're going to lift both arms up into the air, opening through the shoulders, and reach forward, thinking back bend as you come down. We're then going to use a block and bring the right hand onto the lower back. First of all, lengthening through the spine and then twisting to the right hand side. And when you feel the right shoulder comfortably stacking over the left, you can begin to float the right arm up to the sky, feeling the right fingers energetically reaching and this expansiveness appearing across the chest. You can play with different heights of the block underneath the left hand, and even play with bringing the left hand to the outer edge of the right leg. Taking 3 to 5 breaths here, again noticing where you feel the breath. To transition into our Utthita Parsvakonasana, we're going to backstroke the arms and step the left foot back into our Warrior 2 stance, whilst bringing the right elbow down onto the right knee and reaching the left arm up towards the top corner of the room, expanding through that left side body, whilst rooting down through the outer edge of the back left foot. Keep Keeping the legs in that Warrior 2 stance, you can play with your arm position, perhaps bringing your right hand onto a block or the mat outside the right foot, pressing the right knee against the right arm, or perhaps bringing the right hand inside the right foot on a block or the mat, using the arm to help press that right knee out. To transition into our revolved side angle pose, our Praravita Parsvakonasana, we're going to close off the hips by just shifting that back heel up and drawing the knee forward, drawing the navel to the spine and finding that length through the lower back. We're going to raise the arms above the head, bringing the hands into prayer, and then twist through the upper body, bringing the left elbow to the right knee. We're going to lengthen through the spine first and then start to twist. You can use the traction from that left elbow to help you twist into the upper body. Again, we're looking to stack the shoulders, that right shoulder on top of the left. Once you're here, you might find you want to expand through the arms, again thinking about that energy reaching through the fingertips. Our gaze, our drishti point, is up towards the right fingers. Again, staying here for 3 to 5 ujjayi breaths. To transition from this posture, we're going to float that left arm up, bringing the right arm up with it. Framing the right foot, we're going to step the right leg back and come down through a chaturanga. Inhaling, opening into that upward facing dog, active glutes, and exhaling into down dog. Next up, we have dolphin pose. We're going to lower our forearms down onto the mat and gently rock the weight forwards and backwards onto the tiptoes. This is a precursor for our Pincha Mayurasana. If you'd like to start training your Pincha Mayurasana, you can float your left leg up into the air, finding the edge point of your range of motion and just rock the weight forwards onto that tippy toe point of the right foot. This will create a lot of compression through the hip flexors. And over time, that will eventually give you the strength to float the legs up into your Pincha Mayurasana. Staying here or in dolphin pose for 3 to 5 breaths before coming down into your child's pose or downward facing dog. Taking some rest here, observing the two sides of the body and any shifts that have occurred. Where do you feel the breath? What do you notice about your body? Letting yourself be held by the mat. And then coming back up into your downward facing dog. We're going to do it all on the left hand side. Lifting that left leg up into your 3-legged dog and sweeping it in between the hands, coming back up into the Warrior 1 that we did on the other side. Squaring off the hips, rooting equally through both feet. If you can't draw the right hip forward with the back heel down, just lifting the back heel up. Gorgeous. On that exhalation, we're going to open out into that Warrior 2 shape, feeling the energy reaching through the fingertips, feeling the weight rooting into the feet, equally through front foot and back foot. Lovely. Inhaling up and back into your reverse warrior, feeling that lovely spaciousness through the left side body, whilst you maintain that Warrior 2 leg stance. Inhaling, lengthening through the left leg, reaching the left arms forward, finding that space through the left side body before you tip into your Trikonasana, reaching that right arm up to the sky and perhaps using a block underneath that left hand, remembering to externally rotate through that left hip. And you can check this by checking on that left knee. Is it knocking inwards? Noticing your breath here. 3 to 5 ujjayi breaths. Next up, we're going to transition into our Praravita Trikonasana. So squaring off the hips, bringing that back leg, that right hip forward and reaching the arms above the head and then forwards. Finding that length through the spine first before you start to twist or revolve. Bringing the left hand onto the lower back, feeling the hips level as you start to stack that left shoulder on top of the right shoulder. When you feel the shoulders stacked, you can float that left arm up to the sky and bring the gaze up to the left middle fingers. Again, maybe you want to play with the height of your block, or perhaps bringing the block for extra twist to the outer edge of the left foot. Feeling the breath here, feeling that ujjayi breath. working its way through the twist. Opening back out into your warrior two, and then bringing that left arm onto the left knee whilst you reach the right arm up to the top corner of the room, gazing in the direction of the right arm. Again, the left hand can be on a block outside that left knee or inside the left knee, and you're welcome to play with the height of the block. To close off, we're going to inhale, squaring off the hips, bringing the arms up and bringing that right elbow to the outer edge of the left knee. Using the traction from the arms, we're going to lengthen through the spine and twist through the torso, eventually bringing the gaze up to the sky. If you feel ready, you can open and extend through the arms, perhaps using a block for support. This pose can be a little bit wobbly, so the block is there to help you balance. Again, noticing that expansion up through the left fingers as you gaze upwards. Feeling the breath through the twist. Gently releasing your Paravita Parsvakonasana as you inhale the arms up through your crescent lunge or warrior one, and exhale, framing the left leg, sending it back through your vinyasa. That's chaturanga or knees, chest, chin. Opening out into an up dog or cobra pose and exhaling into a downward dog pose. And again, we're going to come down into that dolphin play. Now, you can stay playing with that dolphin pose, perhaps rocking forwards and backwards onto the tippy toes, or this time floating the right leg up and rocking onto the tiptoes of the left leg. Again, you'll notice this real compression through the front of the left leg and a real activation through the right glute. Eventually, you may find you can float up into your Pincha Mayurasana. Beginners, perhaps try working against a wall if you want to play with this inversion. But again, when you feel your shoulders tiring, gently make your way into a child's pose for some rest. Opening those knees wide, softening the body down into the mat, letting the head be heavy as you feel the breath in that back body. Focusing on any shifts you feel from that practice. What do you notice has changed? Where do you feel the breath